Hi, and welcome to week 10. This week we're going to be looking at the visual side of communicating information, and I think this could be an interesting topic for you all. I'm going to give you an overview of our content for this week, as well as a introduction to what I expect for your assignment that's due this week. And just want to let you know that within the context of the course, we've really kind of turned the corner. We have about 4 more weeks of content, and then the last few weeks of the course will be spent on our final project. Our final project serves as the final. It's worth 150 points plus 10 points for a peer review. So I really want everyone to be successful in order to be successful in the course and to secure the grade that you hope to get in the course. So we're going to spend some time working on that together. As far as our readings for this week, we're focusing on, again, the visual aspect of communicating information. And we have some really cool pieces to look through. This is not so much a reading as it is a sort of PowerPoint style presentation, and so that one is fun to look through. We also have a chapter, and I just want to show you that a couple of these, except for the Canva piece, are a little bit lengthy. I don't expect you to read them with a fine-tooth comb. I hope that you will browse through them. I hope that you will find them interesting and maybe even pertain to your particular field, or maybe a final project or some sort of visual component that you might have in another class. We do have a visual component to our final project, and that is a graded part of that 150 points, so it would be good to make note of some of these elements. We have recently scaled back the course. We used to actually have an infographic requirement in the course, and we've scaled that back, but this is a very valuable thing to consider as we talk about not just finding and evaluating and synthesizing information, and how that information can be written or visual, but then also producing it ourselves and communicating that effectively. So that's a valuable thing to do. I will say this visualizing information for advocacy is a download, so when you click this, it will probably go to your downloads folder, and that opens up as a PDF. I think I have it here. Yeah. So again, the table of contents here, you can see has 42 pages, but a lot of it is very dynamic, and this is something that I would actually save if I were you, because I think this is a really valuable resource if you have to do any sort of information design in any of your coursework or in your field. So let's look together at the requirements for this week. Your attendance for week 10 is another video. It is a TED Talk, but all of these questions can be answered from the first 10 minutes of the talk. He is a little bit hard to understand at times, but it's an interesting, he's very dynamic, it's very interesting, and there are subtitles. But a lot of these questions are more about the visual side of things, of course. So again, this is just something to get us thinking and talking, and to help us apply what it is that we are reading about and thinking about this week in a practical way. As far as the big assignment for this week, I do want to let you know that it's 40 points, and after this particular article comparison, we have the podcast, and then we have the final project, and that's it as far as major points in the course. So it's really important that everybody do the attendance and all the small points that add up along the way, those easy points. But this article comparison, I think, is fairly straightforward and an easy way to, again, get 40 points in the course for a lot of you that have emailed and asked for a way to make sure you're staying on track or being successful. So for this article comparison, what I want to emphasize is that you are reviewing this rubric before you write and submit. After having graded our Deconstructing a Journal article submissions, a lot of them are very strong, and I think 2 things would be my advice. One would be to proofread your work before you submit it, which means starting early, finishing a little early, and having some time to go back with fresh eyes and make sure that your mechanics are in order and make sure that what you're writing flows and makes sense. The second piece of advice is to start with good sources for you to analyze. So our requirements here are 2 written pieces of at least 500 words, which is not super lengthy, or 2 videos that are at least 3 minutes long. They need to be on the same topic, and you need to compare them using principles outlined in readings and in class. So things that we're looking for: compare and contrast the information that's shared, argue any sort of bias that may exist, and describe how the sources tailor or customize the information to appeal to particular audiences. So again, we're talking about persuasion, we're talking about the visual components, especially with the videos. That's a huge part of it. So those readings for this week could go into that. There's a lot of different ways that you could take this, but I do expect you to tie it into previous readings and previous topics of discussion for the course. I would encourage you to find something that is a little bit more professional. It doesn't have to necessarily be academic, but find something that's a little bit more meaty and a little bit more professional and has some weight to it so that you can analyze it. It's going to be very hard if you pick a pop culture piece, and I really would encourage you not to do that. It will be reflected in your grade. So these are not research articles, these are not necessarily scholarly pieces, but I do want you to find something that you know a little bit about so that it will be interesting and so that you have some basis. And I do want you to find something that is a little bit more professional, well done, something that you might even feel comfortable using in a course, even though 3-minute videos and 500-word essays or articles are not that long. I want you to think of it that way so that you have a good starting point from which to analyze it. If you start with something that's a little too pop culture-y, then it can be really, really hard to go anywhere from there. And I've seen that with this assignment in the past. So I just want to discourage you from doing that. If you have any questions about this assignment, please send them early in the week, and I will get back to you so that you have some time to continue to work. Please try to submit this assignment early in case you run into any technical issues. And please reach out to me if you have any concerns about this week's content or any aspect of the course. Have a good week.